he's just my favorite person I've ever met. No offense to everyone else.
Yeah.
But the fact that this is the person that I get to hang out with every day forever is just like,
I didn't know what I would want, but he did somehow. And that's kind of a flex.
I am in love with a guy who does that sport on that actual field. Like, that is violent chess. That is gladiators without swords. That is...
It's not always the same thing that one person sees first. There is a second conversation going on, though, when you pay close attention to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. The concerts, the sideline games, the podcast cameos, the candlelit dinners, and the 2 in the morning walks. One expressed only by touch, look, and wait. Pay close attention. Interviews are never as powerful as what Taylor does with her hands around Travis. Her poise is powerful, her command is gentle, and she strikes the ideal balance between command and submission. Despite Travis's dominance on the field, it's obvious that she's calling the plays when it comes to love. According to body language experts, the true essence of a bond can be found in the subtleties. The tilt of a head, the lingering touch, or the way a hand becomes a shield, rather than in the big gestures. Those margins aren't quiet to Taylor and Travis, they hum. Consider the Chiefs' first game. Standing tall in the private box is Taylor in her custom red and white mini dress, which is a combination of fashion manifesto and fandom. It was strategy, not just support. She was not becoming less of a player's girlfriend. She was making her presence known, demonstrating to the world that she could respect his arena without sacrificing her own. And then there was that dinner in New York. She was glowing like the city lights in a blush pink mini dress with gold buttons. He and subdued classics let her shine while emulating her style. Style twinning, as defined by body language analyst Judy James, is synchronization rather than imitation. Their chemistry found rhythm in their fashion. She took note of the specifics. Travis wrapped his protective hand around hers. Taylor walked purposefully with her arm tucked in, keeping her bag close at hand. It was whispered by her body language, poised, private, but in control. She wasn't getting smaller next to him. She was making decisions about how much of her power to divulge. Their worlds finally came together when she appeared on the New Heights podcast. Travis did more than simply listen as Taylor talked about songwriting, passion, and creative fire. He anchored. His eyes were fixed on him as his body leaned in. It was visible to you, 2 individuals circling the same truth. Power is aware of power. In their situation, love also resembles a partnership. Travis referred to her as the all-time great songwriter. He lowered his gaze, softened his voice, and made that silent eye drop that says, "This isn't hype, it's a show of respect." It was a humble moment, the kind that feels admiration but doesn't act on it. A man who knows very well that he is sitting next to a legend. All-time young Raider, it's really kind of you to say that. She looked down for a moment, teasingly, and then met his gaze, the sort that lingers long enough to give the air a charged quality. They grinned. She shook her head, acting as though she didn't believe him, but in reality, she understood him. Then she leaned in and put her hand under his chin with a quiet assurance. And the gesture was subtle, flirtatious, and almost playful, but it was also disarmingly intimate. It expressed what words couldn't. Leaning in when speaking, touching when listening, and being open and uncrossed. It wasn't a show of love. The connection was not protected. Then came the stadiums, the award shows, the post-game chaos, and the big moments when every camera was looking for holes in the fairy tale. However, what some perceive as weakness is actually strength. It's trust, not submission, when Taylor tilts her head slightly downward and places it in the crook of Travis's arm. It's the silent act of knowing that you're safe enough to sleep. Her soft, fledged fingers shielded him just enough to make the moment theirs. As she cuddled his face in both hands and kissed him during the Super Bowl. It wasn't ownership, it was respect, a harmony of power and deference. He embraced her. She didn't pass out. With power and willingness, she leaned in. Their grips speak for themselves. Always intentional, sometimes loose, sometimes interlaced. Her hand is frequently brought to Travis's chest, where it is protectively cupped, a silent, "I've got you." Her reaction, however, is noteworthy. Calm acceptance without grasping or clutching. Despite allowing the care, she maintains her composure. The little gestures continue even after the lights go out and people leave an event with genuine smiles. her shoulder lowering slightly, his hand at her back, a soothing rhythm. She is being observed, not protected. She lowers her gaze out of trust, not to conceal. He is not exercising control when he leans in to block a flash, wind, or noise. Devotion is what it is. Analysts characterize their affection as tender, the kind that communicates safety without using words rather than possessive. She maintains the scene even during tense moments when Travis tenses up from too much noise or Taylor displays a brief moment of overwhelm. She chuckles, reroutes, and regains the space. Taylor's strength doesn't roar for that reason. It shines. The way she protects a kiss and the way her laugh trembles but never falters are examples of it. The daring, almost promise-like way her eyes dip and then rise again. Her softness is what gives her power. Her tenderness is power in and of itself. Taylor doesn't use equal force to subdue the alpha in those situations. She gracefully disarms him. Without ever letting go of her authority, she pulls him into tenderness. Her weakness turns into a strength of its own, commanding, charismatic, and quiet. Travis also changes, but not to one of weakness, but to one of reverence. He listens when she talks. His body language opens and his gaze falls. When the spotlight shifts to her during an interview, he discreetly backs off, sometimes even taking a half step behind her and putting his shoulder just behind hers. That isn't arbitrary. It's defense, it's a collaboration. Instead of being the eclipse, a man has chosen to be the anchor. Their more recent public appearances, such as post-game celebrations and awkward pictures, exude a calmness that wasn't always present. Now that her smile is touching her eyes, Taylor appears softer and her joy is more open. Travis also beams differently, his hands twined with hers and his smile wide. Analysts observe that fluid comfort has replaced the tinge of self-consciousness. They rest together rather than posing together. It's a duet of balance, from their posture to their breathing. Taylor lets her frustrations and exhaustions show, but never to the point where it compromises her poise. Travis permits intimacy while maintaining room for her complete existence. When combined, they produce power and presence rather than submission and domination. Taylor does not impose his will on others. Energy is what drives her. She makes him softer without making him less. His alpha becomes curved, steady, protective, and tender around her. Her downward gaze is often misinterpreted by others as an indication of insecurity, but body language experts disagree. It's trust, not fear. She leaned in with her hands open and her fingers soft during that iconic Super Bowl kiss, protecting but not concealing the moment. That is claiming, not retreat. That's safety-based intimacy. Taylor partners during interviews rather than merely performing. She responds to Travis's sincere words by laughing, nodding, placing a hand under his chin, or making any other small gesture that conveys, "I see you." She doesn't have a showy or loud voice, it is a subtle creature. You don't have to shout to have real influence. Comfort is what it feels like. It appears to be trust. She is aware that he will catch her if she leans. He is aware that her gentleness is not a sign of weakness. It's mastery, and their bond is so captivating because of that duality, the fusion of devotion and dominance, of steel wrapped in silk. Taylor is in charge of the room, even though Travis is in charge of the field. They come together in the center, where softness demonstrates its strength, and strength learns to be soft. With a lyric in her gaze, she is a woman who can hold 80,000 people in the palm of her hand and command stadiums. She has transformed her vulnerability into wealth, endured criticism, and created empires out of heartache. But Taylor Swift's performance under the lights isn't the most intriguing aspect of love. When the lights go down, that's how she moves. She doesn't compromise herself for Travis Kelce when they are together. In some way, he grows as she does. She never compromises her own integrity to allow him to be strong. His alpha energy softens around her. Instead of being possessive, his power becomes protective. Tenderness is always the end result of what starts out as intensity. Just by observing their body language, you can trace their development. The initial phases of cautious assistance, the slow disclosure of trust, the increasing tactile comfort, the way she walks with her hips falling naturally next to his, the way he occasionally lets him take the lead before advancing a few seconds later, the way she looks for his eyes, sometimes shyly and other times with that distinct gleam of happiness. Every smile she gives him conveys love and subdued authority. She is the center of gravity in their orbit, but she also melts him. Her posture is open and confident when they sit together, whether it's at an award show or on a podcast set. He frequently sits just a half step behind her in her shadow, mirroring her. From devotion, not deference. The hallmark of authenticity, according to experts like Inbal Hanagi, is their forward-leaning bodies, uncrossed limbs, and physical openness. Taylor has pointed out the uncommon harmony between sovereignty and sensuality. She attracts rather than dominates. She does not cede her authority. She chooses when to take the lead and when to back off. Her movements, a hand on his arm, a laugh that eases their tension, her prolonged stares all contribute to a dance in which dominance is invited rather than imposed. And Travis doesn't fight back. There he meets her. He encourages, protects, and admires. Her light doesn't threaten him. He makes it louder. But the beauty of their relationship is that he doesn't mind being moved by her. He doesn't vie for attention or power. He is strong because he knows when to throw his arms around her. That isn't a sign of submission. That's assurance. That's love that is safe enough to live alongside authority. Just think of their private evenings. Just soft music and dim lighting, no flash or cameras. His arm was securely encircling her as her hand traced the line of his jaw. Every version of the story is the same, regardless of whether she whispers first, he does, she leans into him, or he pulls her in closer. Two equals come together in the center. Their relationship wouldn't be about conquest if it were a song. It would be a duet about unity without hierarchy, vulnerability and triumph, and strength and surrender. That same refrain reverberates in every look, touch, and protective gesture. This is not a performative love. It has been lived, it is supple, it's fierce. They own it, and the message is clear to anyone who examines the pictures and the quick glances. The play is being called by her. He's responding. Together, they are redefining what it means to be strong in a romantic relationship. One look, one pulse, one flawlessly unplanned moment at a time.